I'm Jim Grimm, and I am in the Office of Family, School, and Neighborhood Engagement at IUPUI. And I'm serving as the moderator for this particular workshop or discussion. We do want it to be a discussion called Community and Schools, a Dynamic Duo. The objective is to learn how resident leaders can promote the best from their partners in schools for the benefit of the entire community. And so what we would like to do, before the panelists introduce themselves, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, is for each of you to introduce yourself and just tell us what your role is wherever you are. Whether it be parent or community organizer, whatever it is. So that way the panelists know what perspective you come from as well. So could you start over here? Just give us your name and a little short information.
My name is Roberto Ramirez. I work on the east side, close to the Inglewood community, and I just work with the Hispanic community in the area.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Halbach. I'm a senior at Rebuff, and I work for Tom's organization, Lion Catchers, as a tutor.
My name is Tom Lang, and I work this organization, Lion Catcher. We do work in the Crooked Creek community, and we do tutoring in schools, in apartment complexes, enrichment like soccer and basketball and art, and leadership development for youth and for adults.
I'm Camille Brew from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we work with individual mentoring partnerships throughout the community, and my role there is to kind of deepen make sure we're responding to community needs and creating relationships with schools.
Hi, I'm Neil Gore. I'm the school community liaison at Harrison Hill Elementary School. It's a Title I school in Lawrence Township, serving kids south of 56th Street to about 42nd and Post.
Well, my name's Terrell, and I'm here to learn about this and record it. Yeah. I'm just high schooler. Just a high schooler.
I'm Nina Gondola with Shalom Healthcare Center. I do community outreach and new in that role, and I'm thrilled to be in it. And we're also we're a Pioneer Healthcare Center at 34th and Lafayette Road, but we're also in 23 schools. My name is Nancy Lacey. I am a member of the Education Community Action Team out of the Martindale-Brightwood area. And my proudest titles that I have right now is new grandma and mom, parent to and I'm a parent of an IPS student.
Kyle Burnett, new parent.
Victor Smith, Crooked Creek Community Council. We're the Federation of Neighborhoods along 38th Street, or along Michigan Road from 38th Street to 86th Street.
Did anyone not get to introduce yourself? Oh, okay.
My name is Clyde Gaw. I'm the art teacher at New Bellevue High School. I'm a 35 years resident of Indianapolis, and I live in the Cafe in the Alliance Far East Side neighborhood area. And I'm also on the Youth and Education Committee.
Sure. Good afternoon. Good morning. It's been a great morning so far. My name is Anna Schultz. I am the founder and head of school of ACE Prep, a new charter school opening at 54th and Keystone this coming August. Will be a K-5 building eventually, opening with grades K and 1. I am a teacher. I taught for 15 years, been in education about 25. Nothing better on the planet other than teaching, not a parent yet. So nothing better on the planet than teaching, and our model is built on strong parent engagement and making sure that the team of educators are teachers to students and those at home to put the children on the path of opportunity for them.
We're at 54th.
Oh, okay. So we are on Hillside, and Hillside's purpose in that area is really to connect 54th and 52nd as you go back into like a strip mall with a marsh to Washington Township Government Center. So it's a two-story, 26,000 square foot vacant office building. It's been vacant for about 6 or 7 years. We're excited to bring life to that part of the neighborhood.
I'm Terry Garcia, the Director of Southeast Community Services, and these are my peeps. That's my
And I'm Beth Friedemann. I'm a community member of Community Heights, which is right by Community East Hospital. That's one hat. Another hat is I'm a single mom of a 2-year-old that goes to school in the Near East Side. And then I work for the Indiana Association for the Education of Young Children, long title, and I oversee a kind of non-formal credentialing program for childcare teachers in the state.
Anyone else? Did you say you're from Shalom?
Yes.
Did you know Shalom was created out of a church and school
Yes.
relationship?
Yes.
And the School of Nursing at IU. So you're a living example of what can happen if the right things come together. So I'm thrilled to hear that. Okay, what I'd like to do now is turn this over to our panelists, and we'll start here and have each one of them introduce themselves, and then I believe that these ladies are going to start with their part of the presentation.
First off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ian Kreger, and I am the Community School Coordinator. I'm employed by Mary Rigg, which is a community center on the west side, and I'm full-time at George Washington, and we're a 7 through 12 building. I love my job. I love being with my neighborhood, and I would like all of you, when you get home today, thank your family for letting you be here today.
Yes.
Because I really appreciate all the many things you all do, and I always got to remember to thank my long-suffering husband who cooks hot dogs a million times to help our neighborhood, and sometimes we don't thank him enough. So thank you all for all you pour into our neighborhood that's made Indianapolis so amazing. And then I'm going to turn this over and let them do this.
I'm Angie Calvert. I'm a member of the Southeast Education Task Force, and it's the part of our quality of life plan in the Southeast that is in charge of education in our neighborhoods. And I'm also a parent and a board member at Cinch Charter School. And I'm also an employee at our Southeast Community Services. Terry's my boss. I'm a financial coach there, and so I'm privileged to work with all of our neighbors that come in and form relationships with them. It's great.
Hi, I'm Nicole Markle. I actually live in Southeast in Biggs and Briggs neighborhood. I'm a mother of 3 kiddos that go to a charter school on the Near East Side, Paramount School of Excellence. It's a great school, as is the school that I work for, which is School 31. But I'm in an interesting position in that I'm kind of straddling some different worlds there between the Near East Side and charter schools and the Southeast and our public schools. I'm proud to be public and working for our School 31, which is here in Bates Hendricks. It's also the James A. Garfield School. My role is the parent involvement educator. I've just been in my position for 2 months, so I'm still kind of fresh in my role. But I'm coming in and fulfilling a role that was previously held by our parent liaison, Sarah McGaffey, who was instrumental in making the Parent Leadership University happen for the parents that I'm now working with.
I'm going to start by giving a little background of how the Southeast Leadership University began. We at the Southeast Education Task Force, we have 3 main goals, and one of them is to improve voice in the neighborhood schools, improve community and parent voice in our community schools. And so out of that, we were able to get a grant to do a workshop for our parents to talk about leadership and what they would like to see in their schools, and how they would implement any kind of changes that they would like to see. So that's how the Leadership University came about. It involved, so it involved 5 parents from School 31 and 5 parents from Cinch Charter School, which is, I don't know if this has ever happened before, where we have IPS and a charter school working together. So we were, and these schools are in Bates Hendricks right now, both serving the same community, like maybe 5 to 10 blocks away from each other. So it made sense that we would all work together as parents and residents of the Southeast to talk about what we want to see in our schools. So we'll get to it. This is just a picture of Val Tate and one of our parents who participated in the leadership. Val Tate was instrumental in facilitating the workshop from INRC, Indianapolis Neighborhood Resource Center. So she helped us come up with a curriculum around leadership and community leadership. So what we focused on at the Parent University was what kind of goals would parents like to see in their schools, and how could we move those goals forward, and what kind of voice would they like in their schools. So this a description of that, but essentially that's what we worked on for 3 weeks in the Parent Leadership Workshop. What does a day at the Parent Leadership University look like? We did icebreakers, we had information sessions, hands-on group activities. We talked about, and we provided lunch, which was essential for our parents. We had lunch, and there was a stipend at the end of the session as well that we were able to give to our parents for their time. And I think that was really important that we had. And we would overview the next class every time and move on to the end of the session. So some of the topics that we covered was just being self-aware, what that means. Because a lot of times our parents are never asked what they want in our schools, and we've had forums before where the parents would talk about they don't feel comfortable in their school, they don't feel welcome in their school, they aren't being communicated. We also hear the same thing from staff. So we know that that's something that, you know, we need to work on in our communities. They need to be a welcoming place. We need to be self-aware as parents to say, we do have the power to be here today, and we do have the power to say what we want to happen in our schools. So we talked about leadership qualities. What does leadership mean? Overcoming barriers is a big one because we have a lot of barriers. We have a lot of people who don't feel comfortable in an education setting because education didn't work for them. They don't feel like they have a voice at the table because they're not educated, maybe. They're educated in different ways, just not through a formal education system. So we talked about emotional coaching because a lot of times it's an emotional process to be involved in your schools. That goes back to self-esteem issues. It goes back to, there's a lot of emotional issues happening at home. How do we, you know, kind of leave that and come and be part of something positive? Team building, what does that mean to work with a team? How do we communicate together so that we can move on with what we would like to see in the school? Accountability, how to follow up, what that means. Project and team sustainability, once we get something started, how do we keep moving it, especially with all these barriers and emotional problems sometimes that we have in our lives? How do we keep moving projects forward? Skill and leadership recognition, how do we recognize what skills we have already and what kind of assets do we have that can help our community? We talked about improving interpersonal communications. How can we communicate in a way where we're not offensive? Like, how can we communicate? We're all at the table that we want to do something positive for our community. How can we show that with our communication skills? We participated in emotional intelligence self-evaluation, hands-on team building exercises, small group presentations, question and answer sessions. So we opened it up. What kind of questions do people have? And we had a lot of dialogue around those questions. We've talked about Project Think Tank and public speaking practice. Today, 2 of our parents canceled today for this presentation. And they were never excited about speaking in front of a group in the first place. But they got injured yesterday, so they're not here. But you know, public speaking in formal settings is not what we do as parents, you know. half the time. So becoming comfortable and how do we spread the word that we're here, we're doing something good, and we want more people involved. So what was achieved? We recognize our leadership skills in ourselves and each other. We understand the importance of leadership application in work, home, community. So it wasn't just what do we want to do in schools, but what kind of projects we would like to do in our community. We gained ideas about leadership growth, and we inspired individuals to go out in the community and, think about projects they want to do and then take charge of those projects and moving those projects forward. And we had a certificate of achievement, which was important for some of our parents because sometimes that's the only thing that they may have participated in or graduated from. And we had a celebration dinner. They got a stipend for their time. And so we'll talk about what's next with our group. And thank you for your time. The parent that was supposed to present made this presentation. So we added also, though, we had we're going to apply for the community grant for the INRC to do a mural project. And so Nicole's going to talk about the next steps.
Absolutely. Is everyone here, I guess who here has heard of a parent involvement educator at IPS? Great. Do you know your local school's parent involvement educator? Who does? Okay. So I have just recently taken this position, so I'm new to it and I'm learning a lot about it. And I'm just saying that I've already filled a book from the last 2 months of things that I'm trying to learn and understand in my role. But as a parent involvement educator, I do 6 different things. I can try to list all of them, but most of them in 6 different areas. I'm focusing on improving communication between parents and the school, and also making sure that we have workshops or programs that teach that our parents can learn more about how to be active in their children's education. But one of the main things I've been focusing on since I've started my position, and I'm so grateful that Education Task Force and Angie and the person in my role before me, Kate Boss at Sense Charter School, took upon themselves to create this leadership university, is it gives me a really great opportunity to immediately start with the ground running with a handful of engaged parents who are already actively going beyond just volunteering to trying to form a voice, form an opinion, trying to be actively involved in advisory councils and everything like that at our school. So learning more about Leadership University has been very important to my role in working with parents to take their training to the next level. Has been challenging, but really gratifying that we're working towards taking them from learning to applying what they've learned. So our next step actually is to apply for funding to work on improving an area between our school and Sense Charter School, Lincoln Street, that runs between those 2 schools. And I can show you this video. This is a video that we created together between both of our schools with the parents to kind of sum up what we hope to do as what they hope to do through collaboration.
Congrats, Neil. I heard about the cultural work.
My oldest started maneuvering the minute he found out. He's like, how can I get in there? I want to be there.
Hey, I want to go too. So, come on. Awesome job.
I love the fact that Fountain Square is an historic art district and it's part of a progressive urban neighborhood. And I moved from a country into a city and I just love seeing people work together and being part of making a difference.
Our neighborhood is beautiful due to the upkeep of the parks. Our neighborhood is beautiful because of all our charter schools and our PS services.
As far as beautification goes, we do have problems with graffiti in the neighborhood, and I would love to see some of the bridges painted on Pleasant Run. I feel like there's been a lot of work done in the heart of Fountain Square, and I would love to keep progressing with that artwork. And a lot of people use the Pleasant Run trails for walking, jogging, riding their bikes, and I would just love to see some more splashes of color to kind of tie in the neighborhood together more.
We have more neighborhood events outside of School 31. Help with beautifying our neighborhood and houses and covering the
More people getting involved, and that's what you're doing, not just putting them out, but going to. Would you like to see painting the murals in your neighborhood? That would be wonderful. These murals about education or any place that needs to be brightened up, and color.
It would inspire more people to work together.
We are all ready for this collaborative project because we are tired of unappreciated spaces bringing our neighborhood down.
So I'm so incredibly proud of our parents because those that were involved in this short video project, which lasted a couple of days, or near enough for the grant, had never spoken on camera, and had not comfortable with public speaking, so we pushed them out of the boundaries of their comfort zone. It was all a good exercise for us, and then it was also great because in the discussion leading up to the grant, we had several meetings about what we were attempting for the grant, what the grant was for. Things changed, so they got a good sense of how things change on a dime and how we have to be flexible and work as a team. And also understanding that we all have different opinions and different ideas, and sometimes it's an opportunity to be a leader, and it's sometimes an opportunity to be a supporter. So far we've had really good success with our parents actually be involved in the grant process and getting on film and talking about why they think that this is a great opportunity. But it was our first foray, our first opportunity for our parents to really exercise the things that they were trying to learn when they have learned the leadership university.
And you want to go ahead?
Sure. Okay, first thing I want to do is ask, okay, we kind of got an idea as you went around, but I want to see a visual thing. How many people are in a school? Raise your hand. How many people are a neighbor or in a community person? And this will be my 7th year at George Washington. And we have a very unique and wonderful situation in that Washington was reopened by the neighborhood, because the neighborhood people knew that without their local school, the community was not thriving. And so those members came together with the idea that they would get their school back. So I'm very blessed that others came before me with this attitude, and we have a wonderful community council. Now, your school may not call it that, your local school, they're called by different things, but most schools now have some kind of group or neighborhood council. We call ours a community advisory council. And if you are not in a school and you're part of your community, knock on the door, ask. The most important thing is communication, and they would love to have you. I am very lucky in that our 5 neighborhoods that go around George Washington understand this, and they are all very welcoming. And they invite me and anyone from the school, they invite our kids to be a part. Each of them have their neighborhood meetings. And what we've learned is that our community has to, because we tried it without, has to be like this. I go to their community meeting and they welcome me with open arms. They were open to the skills that I bring, and they weren't necessarily always doing the community coordination thing. As I said, my husband and I was the alumni director at Marian University. So one thing I really knew to do when besides connecting people, which is my other gift that I love, is my husband and I know how to do hot dogs for 800 people. We had to do the very first tailgates for Marian University when we got a football game. Well, there's always a need for someone who can cook hot dogs at a cleanup. So my husband and I have grill, and we will travel, and that is what I do. I know you all each have amazing skill. All you have to do is ask. Let the school know we have a program where we follow our students after they graduate from high school. We're very unique in that there's not a lot of other high schools who do that. Wherever you live, I guarantee you, there are students who need mentors and help. Maybe it's students in your school who need to learn how to read. Just having somebody to read to. I just had someone talk to me about that the other day. She was one of my mentees, and reading was never easy for her, and she said, you know, I could always do better if I read to someone else. We need people to read to them. We need people to come and sit with our kids when they're getting ready to go off to college, because many of them have never had anyone in their family go. It's scary for them to go stand in line in financial aid. You don't have to know anything about financial aid. You just need to stand in line with them, because if something goes wrong and you laugh about it with them, it's a lot less scary. So if your skill is standing in line, it's important. Whatever is, be welcoming. And the most important thing is provide places. We have manpower in the school. Our children did not have uniforms. That has been a really tough thing for the last couple of years. Some kids are homeless and they don't have shoes. So we partnered with a local church. But instead of just giving us clothes and having our kids feel like, ooh, you know, I didn't even have clothes, and they had to give them to me, they worked it out so our kids, after they got the clothes, and nobody knew who got the clothes from there, we kept it all hush-hush, but we made an opportunity for our kids to go down and flip that clothes closet from winter to spring and spring to winter, and now that's a partnership we've got going. That church really needs to have somebody else come in and sort those clothes. And let me tell you, our seniors at their senior service project never had so much fun sorting through and organizing those clothes and deciding what was cool and what wasn't cool, and they let them put things that should never be worn again into a disposal pile, and they had a blast. So it's amazing what can happen when you link together. So everybody has a gift, and that's been the best gift in our neighborhood, is the open, welcoming inviting the schools to knock on the school's door. If you have not had a chance to make that connection, they do want you. There's a million things you could do, and they can't get that whole job done. Every school needs all kinds of mentors. Our local neighborhood is changing our students' lives. In our neighborhood, 7% of the population had gone on to college. We raised money for scholarships, and we couldn't understand why when we had money for scholarships, the kids still weren't going. Well, that's when we found out that they just didn't know what to do to make that jump. So when we started our mentoring program, we were crazy enough to think we could do it all by ourselves. And I will tell you, sometimes we in schools think we have to do it all by ourselves. I thought, I can do this. There are 77 graduating seniors. That means this many calls in the summer, this many calls in the fall. If they really need my help, I'll go stand with them. And then I use the media center person and the nurse. Well, guess what? It never occurred to me that the next June, I'd have another 77 to 100 seniors, and the first ones would still need my help. Now, I have Lilly people who are mentoring, I have local neighborhoods, I have my school alumni, and I guarantee you, if you're sitting in that neighborhood, there are kids in the school who are waiting for you, so don't be shy about pounding on the door and asking for help. Does anyone, I know that you all know as much as we do, does anybody here have something to share that's similar to our example where you can help each other mutually? Like when I was talking to you about our clothes and then the kids, I know you all do this just as well as we do, and I'd love to hear what you're doing and what your ideas are. I'd really like to hear sharing from you all. You got something they're itching to?
So for me as well, just kind of trailing on that, I really would love to see School 31 transform into a community school and actually meet the definition. But the question then is, how do you define a community school, and what are the attributes of what a community school is and how it operates?
Well, a few years ago, a group of about 20 or 30 of us, that included parent liaisons, as you are now, we're called parent, came together from across the city and spent an afternoon. Were you part of it? I know some of your people were. We decided a definition that we would come up with just for the purposes so that people would understand that we adapted from a superintendent in New York State, I believe, was where she was asked on an elevator, what is a community school? She said, oh, a community school is Oh, that's too bad. Oh, a community school is a strategy that organizes community support for student success, strengthening families and neighborhoods. So a community school is organized strategies to organize neighborhood resources for student success, strengthening families and neighborhoods.
And I have copies of that.
We have copies of this if you're interested.
You can take with you.
And so any kind of variation on that is what a community school really is. And the reason I say that is because every community school is different in every community. If you've seen one community school, you've seen one community school. Because the truth of the matter is, it's to reflect the needs of the students, the families, and the neighbors of that particular school community. That's what it really is. And so I just want to share that with you as an answer to your question.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely one of my first challenges, is to understand families and the community. And luckily I live here, and I've been here for a couple of years. That doesn't mean I understand the community or its needs. And I'm good friends with Angie, and so I get to learn a lot about the people that live here from her work. Tackling it in a couple of ways, just to start off with. I don't know if anyone here has heard about Time Bank Indy. Time banking is one of the ways that I'd like to see our school become more integrated in the community by really reinforcing with my families that it's not enough that you're giving just to the school. The school's a part of the community, so we need to take our skills and assets not only for the school, but strengthen the school by taking those assets out into the community. And Time Banking is one of the ways that I'd like to see us do that. We are now a partner with Time Bank Indy. It's a new organization that just established this past summer. And Time Banking is very much what we're all talking about. If everyone had something to give, we all have skills and assets. It's just a formal way of trading those assets and skills through time. And so I'd encourage you all to learn more about it. You can go to timebankindy.org to learn more about it. But it's basically an online profile system where you say, this is what I'm really good at, and this is what I need, and you trade time. It can be done formally on the site, or you can do it informally between a resident in Crooked Creek or with a resident down in the southeast neighborhood. But one of the ways that we're doing that within the school is to try to tie parents together and realize that they can help each other, and then take those skills and help the community. But yeah, the other thing that we're going to be doing is we're working on an exhibit in the fall or in the spring where I'm inviting parents to come and to the school and bring an artifact or something that means something to them and their family, just to kind of do an illustration of what the diversity of our school really looks like and what different values everyone has. But that whole question of trying to understand my school community is really important.
I guess when I think of community schools too, I think of, 10 years ago, I used to work at the YMCA, and we had the after school program, but we had an office in Shortridge. And so we were there all day long for the kids. Sometimes we were playing social worker or counselor, and I wasn't a trained social worker, but, we connected kids with things, just like sort of thing. And so I see that health centers, I taught in Lawrence Township for a while, and we had community health sponsors of nurses, but why can't the parents go to see those nurses too, because in some areas, there's dead zones. I know at Paramount, they do Garden on the Go. We did it at the YMCA here in the Meadows. Like, food deserts is an issue in this city, a huge issue. So I think when I think community schools, I think, like you said, figuring out those gaps and having them in the schools, having a health center in the school. Parents are already living right there, so most of the time, and so having those things, having if you don't know what Garden on the Go is, it's a farmer's market for low rates. They take food stamps. It's, some of the branch of grieving delivery. So all those things can bring in that you change your bucket each week and you go get apples this week, and they probably have a lot of apples left over, so they sell it at Garden on the Go. So, which they're trying to grow too, so if you have any resources there, they're going outside the years.
To add to that, ma'am, and I'm the one here that has the least experience with all of this, as I'm starting from scratch building the school, but it has been really important for us to try to flawlessly embed ourselves within the community as opposed to always drawing people to the school and wanting to build this genuine sense of partnership as opposed to look at me, and instead support what's already happening. So be that participate in beautification days on the weekend or try to sponsor, be a part of sponsoring community events has been really helpful too. To let the community know we value what's already happening here, we appreciate what's already happening here. We're not trying to diminish anybody's work. We're trying, as you were saying, ma'am, with your visual, to make it stronger and all work together. And sometimes I found it to be incredibly exhausting, always recreating the wheel and realizing doesn't help when she's doing this awesome. Let's have the conversation with her and help make her stronger and better. So just scouring websites, I know that sounds silly, but scouring websites, figuring out when events are, promoting those events however we can in our own Facebook page has been a way to genuinely build up those rapport that I think early on has been successful.
Neil, could you share what you're doing over in Lawrence Township?
Be glad to. We were really fortunate to get a student success grant that was quite substantial from the United Way of Central Indiana. It was a huge help. Opportunity for me to be at ground level. I was invited by the principal to be a part of the conversation about what we could do as we applied for this student success grant. And I think it was really great that she was at that point saying, let's not just look at academics or let's look at the education, let's look at integrating community ideas from the very start at the grant writing process. So we got the grant, and there are 4 big components that I'm working with. One's an after-school program by invitation. We do some club times right after school, so we're partnering with the YMCA. They've done a Fuel Up Play 60 grant. So they're coming in and working with us. I've had a couple of international baccalaureate students write Youth as Resources grants. So they're actually coming in and doing work with our kids as high school students in our after-school program. And then our second hour of the after-school program, they go back into the classroom working with our teachers. We do summer programs where we have 3 weeks of academics between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and then we do club activities in the afternoon. So we're working with our local sports coaches. We're working with people doing our STEM programming. Local police departments come out and did what they call Harrison Hill Heroes. So actually building positive relationships with our police department before that. And so that leaves those organizations a place to be able to come and play and do what they're good at. So like the YMCA coming in and running their programs, our coaches coming in and be able to start building their wrestling programs, their volleyball programs, working at the elementary level. So they've got some vested interest in coming in and starting work with our kids. We do have a community council that's been really successful, and I think that's an attribute to our community. And then also we do what we call family engagement nights, and this is my joy. Family engagement nights, we've had 38 different classes being offered. We do this 4 times a year. We run Tuesday night and Thursday night. These are 6-week classes. So we just finished up our first session for this year. We have everything from crochet to tap dance classes to financial literacy. We've offered family tennis. We've offered English, so we're working with Washington Township Schools, and they're coming in and actually running our English program, so our parents are taking classes 2 nights a week for about 3 hours each. We're working with the YMCA, Indy Reads, doing a family literacy program. We're working with Peace Learning Center. We're working with our local police department. We're opening our doors saying, what do you want to do? So we're also working with mentoring agencies like New Boy and Boys to Men, and asking them, which Boys to Men is running our karate program. So it's all free to our families, and so far we've been able to offer dinner at the same time. So we have a 5:30 class that runs for 6 weeks. We have art classes like with Art with a Heart. Then we have dinner together. So the other piece of this is we're able to build community where people don't know each other. We extend south of 56th Street to 42nd and Post. So 150 of our kids are right at the corner of 42nd and Post. And so these are opportunities for us to work with those families that don't know each other, don't necessarily trust each other. We're working, across lines, having people like our mayor just walks in, and the mayor of Lawrence will just walk in and have dinner with our families. The police chief just walks in. So I was just in the neighborhood, like to sit down and have dinner with some families. And it's really been a beautiful thing because, again, we've created an infrastructure for success, I believe, long-term success beyond the grant. And that we're allowing organizations to come in and achieve their mission in our school, in our building, and do what they're good at. As opposed to us trying to do all these things, let you come in and do what you're already good at. And our hope is that we've become so integral.